The United States is ramping up offensives against Venezuela at a near war-footing pace. We are not saying this. U.S. actions with each passing day are proving it. U.S. President Donald Trump and his administration are hell-bent on ousting Nicolás Maduro, and in a recent interaction with the press, the president even declared that it would be smart for Maduro to step down. This time, Trump's threat was not empty. The U.S. also took action in the Caribbean. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday issued a fresh warning to Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro as the U.S. Coast Guard intensified efforts to intercept oil tankers in the Caribbean, part of the administration's escalating pressure campaign on Caracas. Flanked by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Trump signaled readiness to further ramp up the 4-month campaign, initially launched to curb drug trafficking, but now broader in scope. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he'll ever be able to play tough, Trump said of Maduro.
Mr. President, some may have been expecting a different kind of announcement today, hearing your Secretary of War and Secretary of State here. You mentioned strikes on land in Venezuela more than 15 times, even now just in your recent remarks. Why should Maduro take your threats seriously? And
he can do whatever he wants.
What's your end game?
Maduro?
What's your end game?
There's no answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He could do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. But they sent their prisoners into us. They sent people from jails and prisons. They sent people from mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States, just walked right in because Biden had an open border policy. What the Biden administration did to our country can never be forgotten. They took in millions and millions, 25 million people over the course of 4 years. Many of those people were murderers and drug dealers, prisoners, rough prisoners, 11,888 murders. More than half of them killed more than one person. They came into our country. Now, I spoke to Kristi Noem today. I spoke to Tom Homan today. He came down to see me. And we had a great meeting. They've done an amazing job. We're getting them out. We're getting them out very fast. But this should have never happened. But Venezuela was Venezuela took advantage of the open borders that Biden created more than any other country. Tren de Aragua, we had gangs all over. Look, I mean, you have a very weak governor in Colorado. Look what happened in Colorado where they would occupy apartment houses. And he didn't want to do anything about it because he was scared.
At a December 23rd press conference, Trump made one thing clear. The U.S. is not returning seized Venezuelan oil. What will happen to the oil then? Trump had an answer to that as well. The U.S. will keep it, or maybe sell it, or maybe use it for the strategic reserve. As Trump ended all speculation about the seized oil's future, the U.S. began eyeing a third oil tanker seizure.
Speaking of Venezuela, oil, what are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Going to do with what?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it going? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic oil reserve?
Maybe we'll sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
About Venezuela, sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro Venezuela would mean for them, what coming back and restarting operations?
The big ones, yeah. I have.
Reportedly, the U.S. Coast Guard is pursuing a sanctioned oil tanker in international waters near Venezuela, potentially marking the third such operation in under 2 weeks. A U.S. official said the vessel being pursued is part of Venezuela's sanctions evasion dark fleet, is sailing under a false flag, and is subject to a judicial seizure order, though it has not yet been boarded. The tanker was identified by maritime risk firm Vanguard and a U.S. security source as Bella 1, a very large crude carrier sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury last year over links to Iran. According to tankertrackers.com, The ship was empty while approaching Venezuela and had previously transported Venezuelan oil to China and Iranian crude. Although the White House did not comment on the development, military activity continues to increase in Puerto Rico amid rising tensions with Venezuela. U.S. military personnel were seen carrying out apron inspections near U.S. Marine Corps F-35B fighter jets at the former Roosevelt Roads Naval Base in Ceiba, Puerto Rico, on December 19, 2025. On December 22nd, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro said the country's National Assembly had approved new legislation designed to safeguard maritime trade following the U.S. seizure of Venezuelan oil tankers. The bill, titled Law to Guarantee Free Navigation and Trade Against Piracy in the Seas of the World, cleared its first debate in Parliament and was expected to become law within days. The proposed legislation includes prison sentences of up to 20 years for individuals who support actions Caracas labels as piracy, and is a direct response to U.S. measures targeting sanctioned Venezuelan oil vessels. Maduro further criticized Trump's focus on Venezuela, suggesting the U.S. president should prioritize domestic issues. "I think that President Trump could do better in his country and in the world," Maduro said.
Today it has been approved in the first discussion. And surely tomorrow it will be approved as a law of the Republic, a special law to enforce the global agreements that prohibit ship assaults, piracy, and all crimes against international trade. The law is called the Law to Guarantee Free Navigation and Trade Against Piracy on the World Seas. We are within our law, we are within our law, we are serious people. When we sign a contract according to the Constitution and the law, it is honored. Rain or shine, just like what's happening with Chevron. Rain, thunder, or lightning. Beyond any circumstantial or momentary conflicts we may have with the current administration, the contract with Chevron is strictly fulfilled. We are serious people because we are people of dignity. And I've been reflecting these past few days on the illegal aggressions that have taken place. And I think President Trump could do better in his own country and in the world. He would do better. Right? Within his own country, with economic and social issues, he would do better with the world if he focused on his country's issues. Each president in their own sphere should focus on their country's issues. Because it can't be that he spends 70% of his speeches and statements on this. And the focus is always Venezuela and the United States. And the poor in the United States, those who need housing, and the jobs that need to be created, everyone should take care of their own country. And honestly, if I talk to him again, I'm going to tell him that everyone should mind their own internal affairs.
Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a blockade on sanctioned oil tankers entering and exiting Venezuela, after which the U.S. seized a second Venezuelan tanker in December. Venezuela's Foreign Minister Yvan Gil accused the United States of hijacking 2 oil tankers carrying nearly 4 million barrels of Venezuelan crude and imposing a naval blockade, calling the actions piracy under international law. Gil warned that the blockade and attacks on energy trade could disrupt global oil supplies, fuel market instability, and harm economies across Latin America, the Caribbean, and beyond.
In December 2025, the United States proceeded to seize and steal 2 ships on the high seas, which contained approximately 4 million barrels of Venezuelan oil, and it announced a total naval blockade against the tankers they produced. They transport Venezuelan energy. These actions constitute acts of piracy as understood under international law, customary law, and the practice codified by the United Nations. As illegal acts of violence, detention, or depredation committed on the high seas against ships and their cargo. Venezuela reaffirms its commitment to peace, but also declares with absolute clarity that it is prepared to defend its sovereignty, its territorial integrity, and its resources in accordance with international law. However, we responsibly warn that these aggressions will not impact only Venezuela. The blockade and piracy against Venezuelan energy trade will affect the supply of oil and energy, increase instability in international markets, and hit the economies of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the world, especially in the most vulnerable countries. Let us demand the immediate end to the military deployment, the blockade, and the armed attacks. And let us activate the mechanisms of the multilateral system to investigate, sanction, and prevent the recurrence of these acts. To defend Venezuela today is to defend peace, international legality, and the stability of the world.